Alright, welcome to the rotation iLearn. So first we're going to start with just going over the rules and we'll explain it more throughout this video. So for the 90-degree counterclockwise, we have xy is going to be negative y and x. So notice that they are flipped. For 180 degrees, we have xy going to just the opposites, negative x, negative y. So think opposites on 180 degrees. Then we have 90 degrees clockwise is going to be flipped y but negative x. So notice how the 90 degrees counterclockwise is negative y x, 90 degrees clockwise is y negative. So we'll talk more about this in a bit. So if we open it up, we have example 1. So again, 9 degrees, we're going to negative y x. So example 1, it wants us to 90 degree counterclockwise, it wants us to rotate this image here, alright? So first thing we're going to do is we're going to list our points. So I'm going to label this A, this is going to be B, then we have C and D, alright? A, B, C, and D. So I'm going to come over here, I'm going to list my points, I'm going to have my X and Y. Alright, I'm going to set up a little table. So we have A is going to be 2, 1. B is going to be 3, 5. C is going to be 5, 5. And then D is going to be 6, 2. Alright, so the rule, our algebraic rule, is on a 90 degrees counterclockwise, we're going to have negative y and x. Alright, so let's talk about it. Counterclockwise and clockwise. So we have our paper. If we're going clockwise, we're rotating to the right like a clock hand would move on a clock. We're rotating it clockwise. Alright, counterclockwise would be the reverse. We're going to move our paper and we're going counterclockwise. Alright, and we'll get more into detail about that in a bit. So if we would apply our rule that A is going to A prime, all right, and that the values are flipping, so that means 1 is going to be here now and we're going to have negative 1 because it's going to be the opposite of what it is, and then x is now going to be our value for y. For B, we have B prime is going to be, now we're flipping, it's going to be negative 5 and 3. As you can see, 5 came to the front and it became the opposite. Same thing for C prime. We're going to have negative 5 and 5. And then D prime, we're going to have negative 2 and 6. Alright, so now what we're going to do is graph our new points. Alright, so when I go to graph, I have A prime is now negative 1, 2. Alright, that's my A prime. Then my B prime is negative 5. So I'm going over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we have 3. 1, 2, 3. B prime. Alright, C prime is negative 5, and we're going up 5 this time. Alright. And then D prime, we have negative 2 and 6. Alright, so then we connect our points and we can see that we have a 90 degree counterclockwise rotation. So if you want to pause the video real quick so you could get some patty paper to trace out your graph to see how this rotation would take place. So pause the video. So after coming back from being paused, if you would get your patty paper lined up, trace the image. We have our x, and we have our y. So we have our image traced out. If I want to go 90 degrees counterclockwise, I'm rotating it to the left. 90 degrees, which we have 90. All right, so we're going one grid. So we're rotating 90 degrees. All right, when you line it back up, we should have our same points we just listed. All right, so we had a 90 degree rotation. All right. So let's look at the second example. All right, second example, we have x, y, where we go into negative x, negative y. On 180 degrees, remember, it's just always going to be the opposite. There's no flipping. Only on the 90 degrees we're flipping. 90 degrees are 270. So now we're going to do the same thing. We're going to draw our table, X, Y, and we're going to draw our rule where X, Y is going to negative X, negative Y, which just means we're taking the opposite. All right, the 180 is the easiest one to remember out of the group. So we're using our same image. If you notice, we have the same graph. So I'm just going to take the same points I have up here from above. Just the A is 2, 1. B is 3, 5. C is 5, 5. And D is 6, 2. So if we go over, we're just taking the opposite. So now my A prime is going to be, it's a funky A. A prime is going to be negative 2, negative 1. My B prime is going to be negative 3, negative 5. C prime is going to be negative 5, negative 5. And then my D prime is going to be negative 6, negative 2. All right, so now if we go to the graph and we plot these points, A prime is going to be negative 2, negative 1. So there's my A prime. All right. B prime is going to be negative 3, negative 5. So we're going over 1, 2, 3 down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, that's my B prime. And then we're going to have C prime is negative 5. 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, there's my C prime. And D is going to be negative 6, 2. So your image should, when we connect, look just like this. All right. Now, if you want to get out your same patty paper we just used from the above, we're going down. Now we're going 180 degrees. So if you notice, 180 degrees, I rotate. Here's 1, 2. All right. So if you want to notice on rotations on the patty paper, 90 degrees, depending on counterclockwise, clockwise, it's going to be 1 rotation. 180 degrees is going to be 2 rotations. Because we're looking at the graph, it's making that 90 degrees inside. It's making that right triangle, so it's just rotating that triangle. And then 270 degrees is going to be 3 rotations. All right, that's for the patty paper. All right, so I want you to pause the video, and I want you to do the last one on your own. You can use the rule from the front that we have right here for 90 degrees clockwise. So pause the video. All right, after coming back from pausing the video, you should fill in Y, negative X. You should have the same examples, X, Y. And our rule is going to Y, negative X. And then we have the same points. And D is 6, 2. All right, so you should have got for A prime, you should have got 1, negative 2. For B prime, you should have got 5, negative 3. For C prime, should have got 5, negative 5. And for D prime, you should have got 2, negative 6. When graphed, if you look at your graph, you should have had A here, D down here. Let me go in order. A, then we have B. All right, and then C right down from there, and then D prime. So when we connect those, notice how when we get our patty paper, all right, it's 90 degrees. We're going clockwise, so we're going like a clock to the right. It should match up. All right, another way you could say this is 270 degrees counterclockwise. So I'm going 90, 180, 270. All right, because each one, if you go 90, 180, 270, same way if we go the other way, 90, 180, 270. All right, so now what I want you to do is work on the worksheet, independent practice. If you have any questions, come up and ask me.